I wanted to react to the articles that we've read on children's books and the trend in book sales. I found it interesting that children's book sales are increasing worldwide. I think in the United States, for instance, they're increasing because there's a bigger influence with the Common Core, which is now being phased out, I get, but with the pressure that the Common Core put on children and students reading at a much younger age, I feel like parents overall are just exposing their children younger and they're expecting them to read more and read from such a much younger age. Something that I did find really interesting was that the growth percentages um, don't include ebooks. I think every child that I know has a tablet. I'd say most of them probably use them to game on, um, but I'm surprised that the book trends don't have ebooks included. I do think that print books are, they are more important, and as one of the articles states, they're the touchstone for children and families. I think that just creating that habit of sitting down together, putting the phone down, putting technology away, and holding an actual printed book and reading together is just such a bonding experience, and I think it's really important, and I think parents are realizing that. Some other interesting things that I found is that um, reading is in the UK at least, books rank number one in leisure activities for children up to age 10. Um, Starting at age 11 through the teens, um, it just drops down until it's just completely gone when you reach that 14 to 17 age group. Um, I do think that another thing that I found really interesting was that the increase in book sales had a lot to do with the fact that adults are reading young adult fiction books for themselves. I personally do the same thing. I enjoy young adult fiction. I always have. I was an avid reader. I think I put in one of our forums that when I was in the sixth grade, I started a book club with my friend, and we would volunteer at the library and we would check out young adult fiction books. Probably when we were a little bit too young to be reading young adult fiction. We were often questioned by the librarian if someone was monitoring the books that we were reading. Um, they were not. So I did take that over into parenting, and I was much better at monitoring my children's books. I think my mom was just happy that I was reading instead of watching TV. So I thought that was really interesting that adults are using young adult fiction for their own enjoyment. I particularly, like I said, enjoy young adult fiction, and I think it's because it's an easy read, it's a quick read, and they're often entertaining. And in a world where we are just inundated with things to do and being busy, having something quick to read, like a young adult fiction book, um, it's just pure entertainment. I personally don't watch television, um, so reading a quick read like that is really helpful. Some ways that I think that these book trends are going to help in my future classroom is because the trend is moving forward and it's moving up at such a rapid pace, there's just going to be more books to use in the classroom. And with more books becomes, the advantage of having more books to choose from and more titles. And the other thing I think that it will have an impact on my future classroom is that the new books that are being written will be culturally relevant, and they'll be relevant to what students are living with and dealing with. And like you said in one of your videos this week, that those realistic fiction books are just really important to deal with heavy subject matter. I'm trauma informed. I've been taking trauma informed classes on my own because I do have adopted children, and we're dealing with some trauma related issues as they get older. And so I don't wholeheartedly agree with exposing children in a school setting to realistic fiction that deals with super tough subject matter, but I do think that it has its place, and I think that with these growing trends in print sales, that we're just going to have so many more options and so many more titles and subjects, and the availability of books is just easier. The price goes down the more that they make paperbacks, especially, so it's more affordable to get those books in the hands of our students. And I'm really looking forward to having my own classroom and choosing those books and choosing the books to read out loud, and choosing the books that I think that my kiddos will enjoy. And I just think that the more books that are written, the more opportunity I'll have to get good literature into their hands that can capture them from a younger and younger age. So I'm really looking forward to that. This was a great week, and I enjoyed learning about the trends in children's literature. Thanks.